All right, so we're going to get started with this training. And again, thank you guys for coming on. I want to just today talk about systems for developing silvers, because really, as we build teams, it's about duplication. We can love the products all we want and have amazing results, but it's really about sharing with other people. It's a service oriented business is what we are. We love on people and we want to help people, and so that is, we want to share with people something that a lot of people don't understand either, that I've come to realize, is statistics. The statistics show that when we get someone to silver, and silver means they have added 3 people to sign up underneath them. When we've gone to silver, those people that have an 80% retention rate. An 80% retention rate. When they don't go to silver, they fall off very, very quickly. So a lot of the purpose for doing that is to help them to stay on the products consistently, because we know if they're consistent on the products, they'll eventually get the results that they want. If they get on and hop off after a couple of months, they're not going to get results. They're not going to always stay with it, because there's always things that come up, right? There's always things that come up, or there's always negative Nellies that are telling people it's not going to work or whatever reason. But if we can get people to stay consistent, and honestly, when products are being paid for, that's a great way for people to stay consistent. And so if you've been somebody who has been,
and I'm not, I know my mom, I'm really not putting her. Well,
okay, I muted everybody, sorry. So one of the things that I've learned is, if we've been hesitant about sharing with people, then a lot of that's because we don't really understand the benefit of them staying on their products longer if they do start sharing. They don't have to work a business. Nobody has to work a business, but if they just share with a few people and get a few people on board, sometimes that's enough for them to completely cover their products and be able to stick with it. So that's kind of what I want to talk a little bit about today. And one of the things I want to say is there's no one specific way to develop a silver. There's a lot of different doors that people can walk through, and you want to kind of be familiar with a lot of different options, because every single person is different, right? What works for one person doesn't always work for someone else, and a lot of the time it's the way you approach the topic and the conversation. And one of the things I've learned over the last few months is how important it is to have systems in place. And I feel like that's something that's been missing for me. I've just been all over the place. And then when I did bring somebody on board who wanted to work a business or share the products, I really did not have a way to plug them into a simple method of doing so. And so, because I was kind of all over the place, they were all over the place, and it can be very overwhelming. And so it was very difficult for me to continue sharing with them how to do it. So that's one of the things that I've been learning, is how important it is to have systems, so that when somebody does come on board, we can easily share with them how to message people, how to invite people, how to bring people on board, and make it very, very simple. And I feel like that's what I've been missing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the systems. It's going to be a little bit of an overview of some of the systems that we're going to be creating here in our community. I'm going to kind of share a little bit. I'm going to go in depth with a little bit, like one in particular. One of the systems that we're putting in place is our calendar system. So I don't know how many of you saw the May calendar. We want it to be similar every single month, right? Like the first and the third weeks, we're going to have some type of Zoom opportunity and product event for our potentials. The second and fourth week, we're always going to try to offer a 3-day Facebook sampling group. And it might change those groups. We might focus on the beauty box. We might focus on launching active. We might focus on you know, the Renew You, the weight loss products. But we would like our calendar to stay somewhat consistent, and that includes a Monday night training most every Monday. We might cancel like Memorial Day at the end of this month, we'll cancel because we want people to enjoy their holidays. But if once you get used to a system, it just makes it easier for your team members to plug them in. Like I didn't know when to advertise the next 3-day sampling system. So now you kind of know, oh, we're going to have one next week, and then we're going to have one the end of the month too. So that helps. So, all right. So going back to multiple doors for creating silvers. All right. So first of all, I want you to understand that these systems are interlinked. I could go in depth in each one of these systems. And we don't have time tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about one, but I want to share some of these doors that you can walk your people through to go silver. First of all, I think the send, share, invite system, that is the beginning of all your systems, right? How you're reaching out to people. And the reason that has to do with developing silvers is people watch you. Your potentials are watching you. And when you're modeling, I'm going to send them a message or send them a video. I am going to share a testimony, right? And I'm going to invite them to purchase products, or I'm going to invite them to my 3-day sampling group, or I'm going to invite them to my Zoom meeting. That is your very first way of even developing silver, because later when you talk to them, like everything you do, this is something that I've really started to understand. Everything you do in your business models for your potential what it looks like to share plexes. So when you talk to them later and say, hey, would you be willing to send this message or send this video to somebody, right? If they say, you know, I don't know if I could share, right? Well, all you have to do, remember how I shared with you? I just shared you a video. Do you think you could send somebody a video? Well, yeah, that doesn't sound so hard. Okay, and I just sent you a testimony. If I sent you a testimony to send somebody, do you think you could message it to them? Well, yeah. You know, and so really, all of these things, you guys, it's so important to have these systems in place because, again, it makes duplication a lot easier. It's easier to train somebody on send, share, invite if you model that for them all along. If you're writing all these big, long, lengthy messages and answering, you know, all these questions, and they just think, I've got to have all this product knowledge to be a Plexus ambassador. I couldn't possibly do what Karen's doing. I think that's where I lost a lot of people. Like I used to just verbally throw up on them and share all these facts and figures and, you know, answer all these questions a mile long. And first of all, it's probably overwhelming. And then second of all, it was like, I can't do that. I could never learn all that stuff. So when you learn send, share, invite, which we will go in depth on another training, you'll see it's very, very simple. And the less you say, the better. You really want to follow a simple system, but that is really a beginning. You want to start planting these little seeds along the way. Another is when you're onboarding. So another system is your onboarding system. And again, we can go in depth with onboarding. But one of the things is, you know, Brooke Hemingway always talks about signing up people over the phone because she's building a relationship with them. She's communicating with them every step of the way. Oh, this is why you need a social security number, because you can actually, as you share these products with other people, you actually get some income back, you know, those kind of things. So that's part of your goal is to get to share with everybody and invite them to share with others. And so all these different ways you kind of start planting these seeds. When you're following up with people, right? Once they get 2 wins, and I've heard Tara Castaneda talk about that, like when they get 2 wins, like, oh my gosh, I have so much energy and I've lost a couple of pounds. Oh my gosh, yay, 2 wins. I bet you know a whole bunch of other people who need energy and weight loss. Who can we invite, right? You just have to ask. If we're never going to have people share if we don't ask. And we have to look for these doors, and we have to look for these opportunities to invite people to share. Our 3-day sampling system is an easy way to get people to share, right? Having them invite their friends to the group. But again, we have to kind of coach them how to do that. You can't just dump people in a group and not talk to them through the whole group. We have to kind of coach people. So again, something we can talk about. Brooke even talks about when people, this is part of a retention system. She has a whole system for retention, which is huge. That's something that I know I need to work on myself. But when people shut off their subscriptions, when people stop ordering, she doesn't back away from that and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you can't afford it this month." She starts talking to them about the idea of sharing. And I could spend a little bit more time talking about that. If you're in her momentum movement or in her align group, I think she has a live video on that. I just flew home yesterday and I'm catching up on all this stuff. I can go into our chat group, you guys, and script them all out, because I'm going to script them for myself, and I don't mind scripting them for you guys and sharing them in there, because she's very compassionate and messages them and asks them. She kind of gets a feel. She doesn't use she says, lose the MLM terminology. We're not going in there and saying, "Hey, do you want to go silver? You can earn $320." She's basically going in there and asking, like, if I could show you a way to get your products paid for, and it doesn't involve selling, would that be something you would want to know? And the reason she says it that way is because she's like, I don't feel like it's selling. It's referral. If they're referring people to me and I'm doing all the work, putting them in three-way chats and talking to them about the products, I'm the one selling, they're the ones that are referring, but they get the referral bonus. So she says, I lose all that terminology, that MLM terminology, and I call it a referral bonus program or an early referral bonus program instead of Fast Start Silver. Okay, so again, I mean, I'm going to be scripting that out, going back to those videos and listening, but all of these are different ways, and the key is to ask people. Look for these little doors. Start with your send, share, invite. Invite them to do the 3-day sampling system. Invite them, you know, when you're signing them up, when they're onboarding them to sign up. Start kind of putting that in their heads that there is a potential here for that. I had somebody share right away that I did that. You just never know. But the one thing that's working for her right now that I want to go a little more in depth with you guys, and it's something that I started doing in April before I had to fly home to Oklahoma, and I had some success with, was doing some personal, it's a personal Zoom conference, but she calls it a personal video chat. Is that what she calls it? A personal video chat. So again, she's like, a lot of people don't know what a Zoom is. A lot of people are knowing now because of what we're going through with COVID. But if you just say a personal video chat, they kind of get that. And basically, it's like what we do on our Thursday night videos, but you just do it for one person on your team, and you invite them to invite 3 of their friends. So again, she just sends out a generic message and just said, hey, you know, Betty, I have been hosting these 30-minute video chats with a few of my friends, and they've been a big hit, right? And I know that you're loving your products. What do you think about me hosting one of these for 3 to 5 of your friends? We could hop on. I will do all the heavy lifting for you. I will do all the work. All you need to do is some inviting, and I'm, you know, and a lot of people are saying yes. She developed 2 silvers, I think, in April this way. And one of them she's developed a level 1 and a level 2 through that. So she sends them all the messages for inviting them. So I'm going to look, because I've typed up an entire Google document on kind of what she says and what she does. This was part of some coaching that she did with our group. So when she enrolls a new person right now, this is what she's doing right now. So let's say you enroll somebody new, or even the new people that you signed up in April, you can go back to them and ask. And she says something like, hey, Mary, every time somebody gets started, I love to host what's called a Zoom meeting. And this is like, if you're getting them on the phone, this is something you can say on the phone. Are you familiar with that, this video conference? And you listen. Basically, we get a couple of your friends together and we can all see each other. We talk health and wellness. I share my story. I tell them about gut health and immunity. It's super casual and chill. I wonder if you could gather a couple of friends together and we could do that this week. That's what she says on the phone. It's so simple. And she's getting a lot of positive response about it. Because guess when they're the most excited, you guys? When they first sign up? They're the most excited when they first sign up. So a lot of times if you're walking them through signing up over the phone, or you can say, you know what's been really popular? These video chats. Have you seen them on the news? Jimmy Fallon's doing the Tonight Show on Zoom. That's what we do. We just gather some friends together on Zoom. We laugh, we talk about health, we share our stories. Everybody wants to know about gut health right now. Can you think of 3 to 5 friends who we could get on a Zoom tomorrow night? And now that's the key. One of the things she says is she literally messages the people either in the morning, if she's not doing it on the phone when they're signing up. If she's going back to, say, your April people, she'll ask them in the morning and they host one later that night or the next day. She said, I don't let them do it a week from now because you know what? They get nervous, they get scared, they get worried, they get fear, they get negative people telling them they can't do it. You just do it. And I think what works good too is a lot of people don't want to commit a week from now. But like if somebody messages me now and says, in the morning and says, can you hop on a Zoom tonight? I can go, yeah, I don't really have anything going on tonight. So that's one of the things that they're doing. Here's the general format. When she gets them on the Zoom for the event, they chit chat for 2 to 3 minutes. She gets to know them, asks a few questions. She has her friend share a little bit about how she knows you and why she decided to start the products. Just 2 to 3 minutes. Just her little testimony. And then you take over from there and you're going to share your testimony for 2 to 3 minutes, like really quick, your elevator speech. Before Plexus, I felt like this, I felt like crap. And you can list the ways you felt like crap, right? And after Plexus, this is what it's done for me, right? She talks about what is Plexus, and basically it's 3 things. It is a gut health company. It focuses on root healing from the inside out. They also have a branch of products that focus on natural, healthy weight management. And the third is that they have consciously clean skincare. That's the bomb. She makes these really super chill and fun. So she says, whether you're interested in gut health and root healing, natural, healthy weight loss, or clean skincare, Plexus has it all. I'm going to take a little time to just talk to you about some of our most popular combos tonight. And then you can just ask any question, and then we'll answer any questions that you have. And she really just talks about a few of the combo sets. She talks about triplex, and she literally just boom, boom, boom. It's our foundational combination. Most people take this, okay, and a lot of times they add on additional products depending on their needs, right? She just talks for a second about Slim, about the probiotic and BioCleanse. And then I thought what was also really key, because she holds up a stick of Slim and the 2 bottles. She said, I show them how easy it is. She goes, all I do, you guys, is I get up in the morning and I drink this, and at night I take this. It's that simple. Because she said, when you are talking about 3 things, people start thinking, oh my gosh, I can't take all of those pills. Can't do it. And so when you're showing them right away how simple it is, okay, you're overcoming already some of the objections that they might have to the product. She focuses on the Everyday Wellness Pack right now because people are super interested in their immune system. And again, you guys, she talks about them for like 2 minutes, right? So, and she talks about even you can add some of these products to it. She talks a little bit about maybe the Active MetaBurn Lean for weight loss. And then she just talks a little bit about the serums and the collagen maybe. She asks her host ahead of time, what do you think your friends are interested in? If nobody's interested in weight loss, she's not going to talk about the weight loss. If nobody's interested in skincare, she's not going to talk about the skincare. If all of them are interested in skincare, she's going to really highlight the skincare and then talk about the triplex and other things, secondary. So really get to know who your guests are before you get on. She shares again her results. She brings it, full circle. I kind of have how she closes. And again, she basically says, if you're unsure of where to start, my favorite product recommendations are boom, boom, boom. She gives them 3 choices because it's like, it's too overwhelming to give them more than that. She said, unless she's asked specifically not to talk about the business, she's like, always bring it up. I'm always going to talk about it. I'm always going to offer that. So she shares a little bit about that. And again, I have kind of her script kind of written out for that, because I don't know about you guys, but when I first start doing something new, it's so helpful to have some verbiage in front of me that I can kind of look at and utilize and make it my own initially or after a while. And so I kind of have a little bit of how she closes. And basically when she gets off the phone, she asks her friend to start a 3-way message chat with each of the people that were on and follows up with them in a message chat. So anyway, that is a great system for now. Is if you're wanting to get, especially when we have a $9.95 membership and we have 10% off all the welcome packs. If you're wanting to add and help develop silvers it's a great investment of your time. A 30-minute Zoom call with a little bit of just step by step kind of coaching your host into how to invite people and you leading the call. It's a great return for your investment. And I'm going to say, I did this a couple years ago. Honestly, I was doing it the month that I hit Ruby that summer. I hit Ruby in August one summer, or July, I think at the end of July actually. But almost all of June and July, I was doing those individual Zoom meetings and I went Ruby. And my team was duplicating. I wasn't great then after they brought people in. Again, I didn't have systems to keep them. And I feel like this was a missing piece. So this is something that I did, not to the extent and the expertise that Brooke did. And mine wasn't as concise. I didn't know exactly what to talk about and how to shorten it and how to condense it a little bit. And so I'm finding like a lot more confidence in doing something like this. But what I am thinking about doing, you guys, like I said, I have on a Google document. I can either share it with you, or I'm thinking about loading it into the files in our Dream Builder group, making a file and calling it like Zoom something or other verbiage. And that way you guys can easily download it and print it out if you want. Because I just find it helpful. And that way, whoever wants it, it's there for, and whoever doesn't. But the main thing, you guys, out of all this, I know it's almost time. I don't want to keep you guys too long. But the main thing I really want to instill in you and get you to think about is just making sure that we are asking everyone and understanding that there's many different ways to ask people permission to share. And sometimes it's just starting with one person. Do you have a friend that you think could benefit from these products? Do you have a friend or a family member that you think could benefit from the products or the business? Because they might just know one. Just start there and go from there. Because, and like I said, there's lots of different doors that they can walk through. And the key is just kind of finding the right door. And you also, sometimes if they're hesitant, don't just go, okay, I'm not going to ever ask them again, right? A lot of times things change and they're open to you asking again. And maybe again, it's a different way. Maybe it's, posting on Facebook, that's another door that they can walk through to share the products. So anyway, that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. And I know we can go way more in depth with silvers unduplicating, and each of these systems I talked about, we can go way in depth with. But I wanted you to see a little bit how they connected, and I wanted you to have a new tool, and that's doing like these little individual Zooms. And again, we can still even go more in depth, but I just wanted to give you something new and basic, and we can get into our video chat later, and not our video chat, our messenger chat group. And that's why it's such a great community in there, because we can kind of follow up with questions and help each other along. And if somebody goes, hey, I've got a Zoom set up for tomorrow night, we can be like, woohoo, we can cheer them on. So anyway, we still are going to have our Thursday group Zooms, because sometimes people are hesitant to host their own, but they might be willing to get on by themselves, or they might be willing to bring one person to that Zoom with them. So those are just another way, another opportunity for us to be able to especially get some third-party validation. It's more than just me sharing about my journey. We usually try to have an extra couple of testimonials on there, so it provides some third-party validation that just an individual Zoom might not. So there's so many different tools and ways to share and to help people find maybe some way that they feel comfortable with, because that's kind of what it's about too, helping them find a way that's comfortable for them. So anybody have any questions at all? I like some of the things. I didn't read the comments. I like what Anita said, keep it simple and don't try to be an expert. That is so true. I used to do that. I used to feel embarrassed if I couldn't answer a question. I felt like I had to have all the answers when they asked a question. And honestly, it does more harm than good, because again, they see you as an expert and they think, I can't do what she does. I can't do it. So you have to keep it simple and show them you don't have to know all this stuff. I can show you where to find the answers to your questions, or you just come to me and I'll help you. Even if you know the answers, like even if I know how to answer, I heard Brooke say this, and Emily Gibson says, I could answer some of these questions in my sleep. And you know what I do? I go, hey, my friend Brooke knows a lot about this topic. I'd love to hear you. I'd love for you to hear her story, because it just adds that extra third-party validation. So Beverly, Debbie is the newest ambassador. We can do this. Yes, Debbie. Woo, woo. Hi, Debbie. Glad you could join us. Welcome to our call. But all of us can do that. How many of you guys feel that you could do an individual Zoom with somebody on your team? And it doesn't have to be a brand new person. I'm going to message a friend of mine tonight who has been really wanting to share, and she's been really, I think, hesitant. It's scary. She's very shy, but she shared with me this week she's lost 30 pounds since this summer, getting her gut health healthy. She's been eating better, and she's been walking. And I told her, oh my gosh, you have such a great story. You have such a great story. There's so many people that can understand and relate to how you felt, because she told me, like, I felt like crap. And so I told her she needs to share. Well, guess what? She made a post a couple days ago, or yesterday, and just said, this is what 30 pounds weight loss looks like. And everybody's going, yay, good job. She never mentioned plexus. And so I'm going to approach her tonight when we get off this call and invite her to say, hey, I saw your post and I'm so proud. That was a big thing for her, though, to even get on a Facebook and put a picture of herself out there and let people know she's lost weight. It's kind of this baby step. And so I'm going to tell her how proud I am of her, of actually sharing that part of her personal journey, and ask her, would she be willing to do a Zoom event with me? Could we invite 3 friends and I'll share my story, and you know, you can share a little bit of your story, and I'll share with them the products, and we'll see what she says. But I think she might be open to something like that, as opposed to she's experimented inviting them to 3-day challenges. So I know she's wanting to do it. You just kind of it's just baby steps. That's another thing that Brooke has really taught me is, just baby steps. You just ask the question first, would you be willing to? Okay, if I sent you a message to send out to your friends, you know, would you be willing to just copy and paste it? Okay, so here, yes, all right, here's the message. So our goal is to get 6 yeses. That's what Brooke says. Our goal is to get message this until you get 6 yeses. If we get more than that, that's great. Because she's like, if I know if I can get 6 yeses, maybe 3 to 4 people will actually show up, even though they said yes. We know how that goes. Things happen at the last minute. And then if I can get 4 people on a Zoom, a couple of them might sign up. And so, but it's just little message because again, we get too much information. Step one, step two, step three, step four. It's so overwhelming and it's scary. And we also, one more thing I'll add to that is something else Brooke says is like when you get people to start messaging or when you get people to share on Facebook, always share with them up front that it's very normal. Get them to anticipate getting some no's because there's nothing worse than they're all excited and they start sharing. And then you know how we feel when we get crickets, right? We kind of get deflated sometimes. We have to remind ourselves this is normal. This happens to everybody. People are busy. And we've been doing it for a long time. So you can imagine when somebody starts messaging or doing a Facebook and nobody responds or they get some no's, it's discouraging. So always let them know up front, hey, it's okay. People are busy. It's very normal. This happens to me all the time. Message, don't worry about it if somebody doesn't message you back, or don't worry if they say no. We might be able to have another one down the road that we can invite them to later. Just say, okay, that's fine. Thanks for responding. I really appreciate it. So kind of coach them to ahead of time with that so that they don't get really discouraged if they get some no's or some crickets, because I know we get discouraged too. So, okay, thoughts? Anybody else has a question? I see Ace. Look at Ace. Zoila's dog. He's so cute. Okay, I'm going to, do I have to stop recording? I'm going to stop recording.